Welcome everyone to what we're watching. We're up to episode 26.
Yes,
This is
that
our
quarter plus a penny.
this is our need one, take one, leave one episode.
Let me find a quarter in that thing. I'm taking it every time.
There's never been anything but 3 pennies up in there sometimes. One of them stuck to the tray.
I'm always listen. Anytime I go into the sheets because they dispense the change separate from your cash,
They do.
and everybody does not always take time to grab the change. So occasionally, somebody leaves 75 cents worth of change in there. Let me see a quarter. Let me see a Sacagawea in that thing. I'm taking that Sacagawea so fast. And I didn't even know they still made those. But every once in a while, I find a Sacagawea.
A Sacagawea quarter? Because I don't think they got those dollar coins.
No, I didn't know that they had a Sacagawea quarter. Like I actually saw a Sacagawea dollar in the dispense. So I was like, well,
the sheets didn't know that either. Either that or the guy, because when she's like, all right, it's $2.44, and you hand her $3 or $5 or whatever. Let's say you hand her $5. She rings it up. She's going to get you $2.
Yep.
The machine, the apparatus does all the rest, and depending on now, those are all calibrated differently. Sometimes that thing's almost shooting that change at you. Like,
it does really fast. Yes.
So either the person who loaded that machine or the person who was receiving that, they're like, I don't know Canadian money. I live in America.
Who is this woman? All my money.
They were USA.
Right. So it's one or two things. It's either that, which is extreme ignorance, or maybe somebody just wanted to say they wanted a surprise in there. They're like, you know what? The 10th person to get a quarter is gonna get a surprise. And I'm like, hey, it wasn't even mine. But again, and look, this is the dialogue, the narration that I have over my real life, Joey. As I walk in there and I notice it, I'll take that. I say it every time, bro. I don't play around. Like there's no shame in my game. Leave money laying somewhere and see what happens.
Oh man, no, I can get that. I can definitely understand that.
Penny spin, sir.
Oh, just like that folded money.
Just like that folded money.
Just like that, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's no shame in the game for those for that penny. But so we're back. Not that now for you all, for the people watching this, they have not really noticed anything. Like this episode will come out this week. It is just going to be a little, later on in the week. But in real time, it's been like 3 weeks since we last recorded, and just big time. Yes. Because, dude, I was on, folks, in my real life. I work in college housing, and I was on call the last time that we recorded, and I had no internet, so I had to move to my office, and that let me. I was off my game because I had a couple of points to make about Die Hard 2. So we're going to circle back to those.
Okay.
Before we go on with a vengeance. We're going to go on with a vengeance. We're going to go on with a vengeance to Die Hard with a vengeance. It's just vengeance all over the place.
All the vengeance. I'm just shooting vengeance everywhere. Who wants some?
All right. So this is the point that I was going to make, and I had it written down, and just like I was thrown off. You talk about your Christmas narrative for a quest, or the moment that, and I talked about it in the earlier episode, the Linus moment. There's even more of one in Die Hard 2 when those final moments take place. She's crossing herself, she's saying a prayer that they make it through and all of that, and he's like when he lights up the runway, we talked about that. That is what they're all landing on. And then after they land, he's out there yelling Holly. And this is the other thing that, and go along with me on this, TJ. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey, but it's not
I
going to
like a journey now.
It's not going to be a long one.
Okay.
But towards the beginning, like before all the shenanigans are really going, the shenanigans have started, but they have not fully started to go down yet. They've started,
Okay.
They've not fully realized yet. In Die Hard 2, they talk about the storm and the other storm that's coming, and how all of these flights are coming in, and they're trying to divert the ones that are not close, and all of the flights are being canceled and diverted, and these airlines are full. Now, imagine if all of that had not happened, we wouldn't have gotten something else that was happening, I believe, at the same time. Because of this and the storms and the flights that are being full and booked and canceled and moved elsewhere, Kevin McAllister's mom is finding it hard to make it home to see her son. I'm convinced. I'm convinced they take place. It's the same Christmas. I'm convinced it takes place in the same universe.
I'm totally cool with that, considering that we recognize that Kevin McAllister is eventually going to grow up to become Jigsaw. But here's what we know: so like everybody talks trash on Die Hard, and I caught some comments from some friends that told me, after I posted it on the book, and I'm talking about, Die Hard being a Christmas movie. It's not a Christmas movie. There's too much violence. And then I bring in Home Alone, and they were like, well, Home Alone is just lighthearted fun. Okay, let's dissect Home Alone, shall we, Joey? This child who was 7 years old.
He's not 7. He's not 7.
Was he 7? Was he 11?
He's like 11.
Okay, I was about to say it was one of those ends and then.
He's 11, so he's not 7.
All right, so he's 11 years old, which is still young, because some of you parents today wouldn't trust your 11-year-old to carry the groceries in, let alone being left alone for a week while your house is under siege. And they're like, go ahead.
By the way, we've talked about this before, but it bears repeating. Folks, we might have to do Home Alone when it gets to be Christmas time.
Yeah.
The worst cops in movie history. There's no one here telling them to count their kids again, and they just leave. Homeboy knocked on the door once and hit ding dong. There's nobody here.
There's nobody here. Tell them to count their kids again. Bro, we're out of the country. You're telling us to count our kids again as if we all flew here and I just missed somebody. Get out, bro. You're talking about Die Hard is life or death stakes. They're in Nakatomi Plaza. People are dying. They're on airplanes. People are dying. I'm like, bro, this mother left her child, man. I'm like, okay, you have adults in Die Hard. This is a kid. That's not light stakes.
The power goes out. They slept in, which is the stupid. You could say we overslept. You didn't sleep in. Sleep in is I don't have anything to do tomorrow. Let me turn the alarm off. That's
which means you overslept.
Is. Yeah, we overslept. It takes the same anyway. I'm going to get us back. We're going to Die Hard with a vengeance.
We're getting there now.
I'm going to land this plane.
Thanks.
But the power goes out. The guy tells her, all right, we've reconnected. Your power's good. We're having a little trouble with the phones, okay? And people are like, well, if they were having trouble with the phones, how was he able to order the pizza? So much so, in fact, that they contacted, this is the truth, TJ, they contacted the then guy who was kind of the head of AT&T.
Okay.
And he's like, at the time, that was possible that you could make local calls, but any international or long distance calls would not go through. It was actually possible to do that. Nobody contacted any of these neighborhood police departments going, what was your protocol? if a kid is reported at home and there's no parents, oh, it says here it's called the Jimmy rule. Jimmy got left behind. We send one cop on his way for shift change. The protocol is he knocks twice and rings the doorbell once. He might yell out, "Hey kid," but it's not necessary.
But he is supposed to get on his radio and say, "Ain't nobody here," as loud as he can, so that if somebody is inside, they will hear him say that and then again announce himself.
Tell them to count their kids again.
The daggum Jimmy rule. As we find out more and more stuff, we're gonna see if we see that Jimmy rule present in any other television or movies here over time. Just get ready for more Jimmy rule.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, now that we're getting into this movie, let me bring it up. Die Hard with a Vengeance. I'm glad those cops were not in charge of finding that bomb in that school. What did y'all do? We drove by the school and looked out and said, "Are there any bombs here?" Tell them to count their bombs again.
We knocked on the door and said, "Are there any bombs?" And no one inside knew of any bombs. So we left because we knew we had done our due diligence. It's the Jimmy rule.
Oh, goodness. We are finally here, folks. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
With a vengeance.
It's a 1995 American action thriller film directed by John McTiernan and written by Jonathan Hensleigh. Based on the screenplay, Simon Says, by Hensleigh and the characters created by Roderick Thorpe for his 1979 novel, Nothing Lasts Forever. Due to contractual obligations, they offered it to Frank Sinatra first, but he was almost 80 years old and he told them to go to hell. That was only for you. That was only for you.
Thank you.
Die Hard with a Vengeance is the third film in the film series following Die Hard 2 and later followed by Live Free or Die Hard and A Good Day to Die Hard. Film stars Bruce Willis as NYPD Lieutenant John McClane and Samuel L. Jackson as McClane's reluctant partner, Zeus Carver. McClane and Carver team up to stop an East German terrorist group headed by Simon, who has planted bombs across New York City in a plot to steal the gold bullion of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The film was released on May 19th, 1995 to mixed reviews and became the highest grossing film of the year.
Wow.
When was the first time that you ever watched Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Die Hard with a Vengeance was actually my first, I think it was my first Die Hard, first Die Hard that I saw. Wow. In real time. I mean, because I'm putting chronologically, I'm trying to put it all in order and then going in the Wayback Machine and remember, I'm like, I think honestly, Samuel was the first Die Hard that I saw. And then as I aged up, I went back and realized that there were two more prior to that one coming out. And then I realized I watched those and I have a ranking. And so I know once we get through all of them, I'll share my ranking with you. But this one, honestly, it fits about where it is, in the release, man.
Nice. For me, I'm gonna give you a little insight into the mind of Joey and into the person who is Joey. I'm 17. I'm 17. Okay. I have been working for about a year at a grocery store chain. I'm a bagger, a bag boy. Had bad luck with the ladies for about a year now. And in 95, I was trying to get myself together. I'm at a Subway eating a sandwich, minding my own business, reading the newspaper. And I read Roger Ebert's review of this film. I didn't even really know that it was coming out. And he talks about how it kind of begins and what they send McClane to do. And he goes, I'm not going to write down what was written on that sandwich board, but just say, what would be the worst thing to wear on a sandwich board in Harlem? And I'm like, okay, I might. And he liked the film. And so about maybe a week later, maybe not even, just one night, my dad and I went to see it and had the best time because we're trying to figure out the clues as they are. So we're trying.
Right.
So how we and going home, we're trying to do the water bottle. Okay, all right. Now how would we do it? We need exactly 4 gallons, and all of that. So this was the second one. I've seen all 5 in the in the theater. This is the second one. All but the first and the last one I saw in real time in at the theater. So yeah, this is probably the one that I've seen the most. I owned this one on video and watched it a lot.
Well, I mean, if you're asking which one I've seen the most, that's the one that we cover next.
Okay. No, I think you said that. I think you said that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into it. The Bonwit Teller department store in New York City is blown up by a bomb during the morning commute. A man identifying himself as Simon telephones the New York City Police Department and claims responsibility. Making demands in the form of a Simon Says game, he threatens to detonate another bomb unless policeman John McClane is sent to Harlem wearing a sandwich board with a racist slur on it.
That's a nice way to put that. Thank you.
The NYPD comply and send McClane to Harlem, where he is confronted by an electrician and shop owner named Zeus Carver. McClane explains the situation before a group of gang members also confront McClane over his sign. Carver intervenes and saves McClane, and they escape in a taxi. Thus, he becomes the Samaritan, according to Simon.
According to Simon, yeah. Like, so Zeus coming over, great actor in Samuel L. Jackson. The L stands for Lester, by the way. So if you see the scene between Zeus and the 2 kids prior to McClane being dropped out in the sandwich board, that's why I feel like that first scene is so impactful, because Zeus is telling these kids, I mean, he's got call and response. I mean, clearly this is something that he said multiple times. You know, who do you not accept help from?
White people.
White people. And then, boom, what does he do?
So who's going to help you? We're going to help ourselves.
We're going to help ourselves. So, you know, like, again, powerful message, because you don't always see that. You know, he could have just taken the radio. If it was what the kids were trying to sell, he could have just took it and kept on going. But he tries to educate them that people are trying to take advantage of them and they need to be in school. All great messages. And then, boom, he's confronted with the ignorance. And then, yeah, Bruce Willis was smart to he had to let somebody know what was going on, you know, because those guys had Zeus not been there, I don't know that John McClane would have survived that.
And I need to go back because I always say it every single time I see the movie and then I get caught up in it and never do it. He times that, he goes, because in I forget how long he says before they notice it, and I think it's to the second. That's how long it takes. And you hear what?
In about 59 seconds, those guys down there are going to read that shit and then look. What? That's all you hear in the highest pitch, because everybody is just talking. What? And then boom, it just breaks off. So,
and he's like, dude, you got to pretend like you're crazy, like you live from Bellevue.
Bellevue. You know, like from Bellevue.
And he tries. He's like, I am. And he spews out. He's like, and I told him I got a real bad headache.
A real bad headache. Bad headache. Yeah, man. Again.
And then they're like, Zeus, is this a friend of yours? Does he look like?
Keeping it real. No, I'm not friends with this guy.
They arrive at one police plaza where Simon demands that the pair follow a time challenge or he will set off more bombs. They agree. So they go, and then he goes, you can simply say that it took you a long time to get a fat woman off the phone. And they're like, what? And then he gives us this St. Ives challenge. As I was walking to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives and so on and so forth. And I'm over there too. 7 times 7. He had 7 wives, 7, 6. We forgot about the guy. What guy? And so we learned how you dial 1 when it's the last 4 digits of a number. 0001. 555, by the way. It's an international movie exchange.
Again, and props to Samuel L. Jackson because he made it authentic. Samuel L. Jackson is not a cop. Samuel L. Jackson does not care for authority. So when he went to the police station and they say, put the Samaritan on the phone, Samuel L. Jackson treated it like a real world situation. I'm not a professional. You kiss my ass. And he hung up the phone and they were mad at him. How you gonna be mad at me? I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for any of this. They were upset with him. He better call back. What does that have to do with me? If I'm Zeus, I'm like, man, look, I don't even need to be here. And I'm walking out. And they're talking about, go get him back.
Which is exactly what he says. Call me when he passes the street number that means he's actually in Harlem. All right. So McClane lies and says that the bomb that they found, and this guy doesn't care about that, even if you do. So he lies, but it ends up that is where they put the school bomb. We'll get there.
Right.
All right. So they agree, and McClane eventually boards the 3 train headed towards the Wall Street station in order to defuse a bomb that Simon planted on it. Carver arrives at the station before McClane finds the bomb and throws it on the tracks just as it explodes. McClane and Carver regroup with the NYPD and meet some FBI and CIA agents who initially inform the pair that Simon is Peter Krieg, a mercenary and former colonel in the National People's Army. They then reveal that Krieg's real name is Simon Peter Gruber, the brother of Hans Gruber, who McClane killed years earlier in Los Angeles. And I'm blanking. Hold on. Why am I blanking? Hans Gruber.
Yes. Snake.
The actor. Yes. Oh my God. What is his name?
You drawing a blank on his name?
Yes.
Oh, snap, Joy. What'd you just do?
Alan Rickman. Rickman was upset that his image was used in the film because he didn't want his image used in the film. However, he is credited here. He did not film a new Fall. He was not going to do that Fall Again anyway, but they do credit him as Hans Gruber in the film. Did
he get paid for it?
Oh, I'm sure if you get credited and they show, I'm sure there was a little bit kicked his way.
Got a little taste.
Yeah, that's all you need is a taste. Just give me a taste.
Just a taste.
And I always was weirded out and I always thought, Joey, you're going to be the type of guy who this happens to. When something's going down and it's not necessarily my fault, but I'm involved in it, I'm going to be in a van with a bunch of people surrounding me. And there's always one shadowy dude in the back who you can't have. He's half hidden. And then he's like, when he needs to look at you, he'll go.
That slow people around.
Yeah. That would happen to us, TJ. And TJ's like, and then TJ, all of a sudden, I feel like you always like, I don't really know Joey. Yes, we've been hanging out, we've been all this, but do I really know him? No.
It's not the case, man. Anybody come at you, understand, just listen for this. What? Just listen for it. It's long, if you ever hear that, get out of there, Joey. We're not safe.
First of all, I understand what you're saying. I'm not wearing that sandwich board because I would say, listen, I understand that. I understand why you want me to wear it, but I've seen the movie. I know how this ends.
That's it.
There's somebody with a knife that's going to cut it off of me, and I'm just going to be wearing it. And I don't even look good half naked.
You don't want me in a sandwich board. It doesn't leave enough to the imagination.
I was really working on my mental health this summer and not my physical health.
Right.
Simon then places another call to the NYPD, informing them that he has planted an explosive in one of the city's elementary school, which is set to explode once class ends and can be triggered by the same radio frequencies utilized by law enforcement. Simon offers to give the authorities the school's location if McClane and Carver follow another time challenge, warning that he will detonate the explosive if any evacuation attempts are carried out. While the pair solve Simon's next challenge, the NYPD begins to search all elementary schools in the city. McClane realizes that Simon has attempted to draw the NYPD away from Wall Street, which has no schools.
None.
And travels to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York building. He discovers that Simon's men have stolen $140 billion worth of gold bullion from its vault using dump trucks. He follows the trucks into a water tunnel while Carver continues Simon's challenges.
So just for clarification, is bullion another word for brick?
Gold bullion. I'm not sure. I think it's the type of, like, this is gold.
The type of gold?
Let's use let's use our handy dandy friend here. I'm not going to say some names.
I feel you, because they haven't sent the check.
They have not sent the check. And if I said some names, my watch, this phone, this computer will all like, how can we help you? And then not give me
Sitting in class now, ladies and gentlemen, learning what a gold bullion is. Bullion.
The term bullion refers to precious metals in their purest form.
Oh.
Gold bullion is physical gold bars or coin made primarily for investment purposes. Generally, gold bars and coins are made of 99.5 to 99.99% pure gold. Their prices are based on current market gold prices and their weight and purity. Now, during this, I think this may be some of the stuff I've got at the end. I will say this: they did allow the writer, the director, and I know Samuel L. Jackson. He actually was allowed to hold that. He's like, it really is heavy. Now there's a mistake made that I will get to at the end of this about the gold bullion. So Simon blows up a cofferdam to flood the tunnel, but McClane escapes and reunites with Carter. Now, at this point, though, I will say this: Die Hard with a Vengeance was the movie responsible for me allowing to know who Chester A. Arthur is. He's the 21st president of the United States. 42. What's half of 42 is 21, and 21 again, it makes 42. And just like now, my man down at the thing, he goes, Chester A. Arthur. And he was
Roosevelt. No, it's not Roosevelt.
All right, now let me see this. Lincoln was the 6th. See if you can find out who the 21st president is. My guy's like, Chester A. Arthur. Chester A. Arthur. I think his brother-in-law is the guy in the back of the van.
But the thing that gets me is, like, as I'm still, because there's a moment where they're trying to realize who the 21st president is, and also driving a Hugo. And they like, nah, we need a faster car and we need a phone. As we're stealing this man's car, hey, do you know who the 21st president is? And I'm like, yeah. So, and then Sam, that guy's pissed. He's going to be a little less pissed when he looked in the back seat.
Oh, my gold.
Oh, my gold.
Man.
That's it. Oh, that's it. Gotta love Samuel L., baby.
Now, towards the end of the film, when he throws the aspirins at McClane, it's like, keep the bottle. Zeus should have said, Can I have a piece of gold? And he throws a bar and it hits him in the head. Keep the bar.
Well, you know, Samaritan, I will let you keep. I will give you a bar. I can't do like.
Die.
If anybody is of the nationality that Simon is, and they just heard my attempt at an accent, I am so sorry. I meant no disrespect.
Simon blows up a cofferdam to flood the tunnel, but McClane escapes and reunites with Carter. Surviving a car chase with Simon's men, the pair find all the men were carrying exactly enough money to pay a bridge toll. Now, the woman that I am going to sprinkle some things through. The woman says that trucks are not allowed on the bridge, and she's right. They had to get special permission to film those trucks going across the bridge. So when they go across, they had added. Yes.
That's wild. And I would say where are the police at during this, and they're searching schools. So that, I mean, you have to like a good heist, right? Like these are the elements for why I like a good heist picture, because you got to account for all of this stuff. Same thing with Dark Knight. We see in the very beginning heist sequence, you know, the Joker being smart enough to have the school bus going into traffic as school is letting out. So they wouldn't have known which one was his anyway. So, yeah, they don't let trucks on the FDR, but all the police are busy. So no one's trying to police them anyway. Smart.
So going back before this, McClane figures something out because of the badge that was his friend's badge, because everybody plays their number.
Everybody plays their number.
Now that man was also in the first Die Hard, also playing a policeman out in front when the police actually come and set up. He was playing a policeman there. So he was in the first and the third Die Hard films. Has since passed away. He passed away a couple of years after this film. I don't know if it was his last one or not, but
I'm about to say it'd be sucky if he died in every Die Hard that he was in.
You know, at least
he died in 3. I know he died in 3.
Yes, yeah, it's a good gig if you can get it.
Yeah. Dying in Die Hards.
Are they still making like big movie series? They got some. Are they still going to make more John Wicks? Are there more Fast and Furious coming? Maybe we can get on that, TJ. I'll die. Maybe we can. Maybe we can shoot each other at the beginning of the film.
Big time fact.
Like we're stealing something, and it's like, oh, here comes all the money, and then you're like, I'm gonna double cross you, and I'm gonna double cross you, and we shoot each other, and a shadowy figure comes out and grabs the money, and then he goes, I was gonna kill you both anyway. Fast and the Furious 28 or whatever.
What? And then that's how you know. It's always something.
We could be on like a front stoop just talking, and something happens and you yell what, and that's when it's like we're off to the races, and then they can shoot us later. I'll die in everyone. They'll just keep bringing us back.
Big time facts.
With different characters, of course.
Oh yeah, we got it. I mean, they're gonna make us look a little different in the first one, you know, that we're in. Maybe I have all this. And the next one, I got a little Tony Stark action going on, just a little difference, so that they can say, well, he's Philip in this one, and he's John Paul in that one, completely different person. And if you notice, the what gets higher and higher from every movie that he's in. By the time we're in that, like our 5th or 6th one, what? It's really, really, really high.
And by this point, people are liking us. They enjoy our cameos whenever they come up, and they're like, "Listen, guys, we love what you're doing. We're going to give you more money on the next one. We want to try something different. Have you either of you ever seen Tropic Thunder?" And I'm like, "I'm not becoming Robert Downey Jr." No,
I'll be like, you know what? I have TJ. We want to do something different. do you know Spanish? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. That's what that's what I'm doing now. They don't want the what anymore. We're international. Okay. I got you. I got you. I got you, Oli.
Okay.
Okay. Love it.
It wasn't so much the K, it was your expression after okay.
Awesome.
The pair sneak aboard a tanker docked in the Long Island Sound, but Simon's associates capture them and tie them up next to a bomb. Simon explains that his school threat was fake and broadcasts a message claiming that he is planning on destroying the tanker filled with the bullion to destabilize the Western world's economy. After he leaves, Carver and McLean free themselves and escape the tanker just before the bomb detonates. As McLean and Carver are debriefed by the NYPD, McLean informs them that none of the bullion Simon's men stole was in the tanker's cargo hold, having deduced that Simon had intended to keep it all for himself, using his knowledge of the Gruber family's modus operandi.
Mm-hmm.
So they're thieves.
The thieves.
Yes, it has nothing to do with any
Nope.
world view, like, we're going to make everybody poor again. No, we just want money.
Just want money.
And then shout out, here's a couple of things. Shout out to my one man who, he was in it for the cause. There's no bullion. The guy that they end up killing.
Yeah, like the tall dude, the lurch-looking guy. Yeah.
There's no
bullion on this chart. Just trash. Again, no disrespect. I don't do accents.
Right. Now, this being said, in Die Hard, they were again thieves, but I think they're like, look, we're just after the money. They're like, and Holly's like, my assistant's pregnant. Can we bring her in here, make her comfortable? And he's like, yeah, whatever. All right. Die Hard 2, they're mercenaries. They just want their guy. They're not, if everything goes well, you won't have to deal with us. We just need to do. In this one, again, they've got standards. All right. Because he's like, and Zeus hands them thinking they're cops. Like, look, this is a bomb. You need to take care of it and make sure. And the guy's like, why don't we just leave it here? Now, a child could find. He's upset. Because again, like, listen, we'll kill people if we need to. We're not going. We've got standards. Like, we don't want to kill anybody as long as we get what we want.
Big time facts. And then when you say, because you say that the whole school thing was staged, to hear the line, I mean, we're not monsters. I mean, like, come on, right? Like, come on. We're not really that bad. Like, really, come on. Right. What are you talking about?
We're not monsters.
We're not monsters.
Olivia was like, if my Johnny boy were here, he's a saint.
Johnny's a saint.
Was a saint.
Johnny would have stopped.
He would have
Simon.
Stopped it cold in 20 minutes.
Stopped it. He would have found the fake bomb and everything.
It would only take him 20 minutes because they live in Jersey. He got to get there. That man was a saint.
He was a saint.
While attempting to place a call to his estranged wife, Holly, McLean glances at a bottle of aspirin given to him by Simon on board the tanker and notices that it was purchased at a truck stop in the Canadian province of Quebec on the Canada-United States border. McLean's informed the NYPD of his discovery and joins them and Carver as they rush towards a warehouse near the truck stop where Simon and his men are redistributing the bullion and planning their escape. The rest of Simon's men are quickly apprehended by law enforcement personnel, though Simon and his girlfriend Katya attempt to escape in a helicopter, attacking McLean. McLean shoots at an overhead power line, which falls onto the helicopter, causing it to crash and explode, killing Simon and Katya. While they are celebrating their triumph, Carver persuades McLean to place another call to Holly.
before we move on, because we haven't talked a whole lot about Katya,
Mhm.
I want to. So, if we're looking at the first two diehards, women are damsels in distress.
Right.
You know, the first Die Hard, we see women getting stooped on desks during the office party. Holly is a damsel in distress. Her assistant is pregnant. In the next film, yeah, the old woman's got the taser, but no good is it on this airplane. So her and Holly again are, essentially there as filler, a reason for our hero to be heroic. Katya is the most badass woman we've seen in the Die Hard universe to date, right? Because when she strolled in, because they get to the Federal Reserve and the guy's just shooting at the door, and she just creeped in through the safe,
Mm-hmm.
made 5 moves, stabbed him 5 times, and Simon's like, all right, nah, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. I mean,
And I feel like as he's dying, or as he's going down, like, you could have just stabbed me once.
one time was enough. One time was because she got him in the throat on the first one.
I feel like most people are like that. All people, I feel, or at least most people, I feel, are like, look, I don't want to die, but if I die, get it over with. Like just once and I'm down. There's no need to overdo this. If I'm gonna die, I'm dead. All right.
You can't overkill, right? Like I
just like hold my beer.
Seriously, I'm not going to a special hell because you stabbed me 8 times, right? Like, and even then, in the same thing, just because you killed me more tragically doesn't give me extra shingles in my gold mansion. Okay, so no, the extra stabbings are not necessary. She was taking that on his neck. That was Livia from another life, bro. She was just taking out some frustration on Johnny for real, man. Because again, every move she did was a different stab to this guy.
I'm thinking as he's going down, going, why is she calling me Tony?
Right. I didn't even want to come to work today.
He didn't. He's got a headache. He goes, I didn't even drink last night. Why am I hungover? This day can't get any worse. What was that sound?
Got a daggone phone call from his friend on his lunch break to tell him, hey man, our lottery pool is up. We won 100,000 each. Oh man, I gotta leave. Oh, don't worry about it, bro. We're gonna hold on to it till you get off work. We got you. As soon as you get off, we got you. Stab, stab, stab. He's just as he's falling down.
They're gonna take my cut and split it.
And these people don't even know about your cut. They gonna take my cut.
Yes. Simon drops a gold bar. He's just throwing the gold bars away.
So awesome. But you know what though? One thing I will say, the party scene, and I say it's a party scene, it was very short-lived. When the bad guys actually think they got away with it, they got these trucks pulling into the yard, everybody's popping bottles. And then Simon is getting ready to get it on with Katya. This is the one thing about new school shows that gives me a hard time, Joey. Mm-hmm. There's a show called The Heist on Netflix, and I love it. It's actually set in, I think it's Spain, so it's got subtitles. There's a lot of sex in bank robberies. Like, I didn't know, but see, now I'm like, okay, that's what I need. I just need to go and rob a bank because then you just have crazy sex, right? Like, is that it?
Look, take your preferred partner of choice. I'm not here to judge. Just your preferred partner of choice.
Right.
And you both go, like, you stake the bank out, right? You figure out everything with the bank. Then you go at night. Because then you're just stealing from a bank as opposed to robbing a bank. You know, you can have your freaky deaky sex behind the counter, on the money, off the money, have the money raining down on you and all that. less chance of getting caught. C, if you do get caught, they're just going to have you for trying to steal as opposed to rob. You're like, listen, I did not rob that bank. There was nobody there. I stole from that bank. There's a difference.
I'd much rather them get me for breaking and entering than thievery, right? Because the bank is federally insured. So if you try and take anything from it, that's a federal crime. I'll be like, I wasn't trying to rob y'all. I just wanted to have sex in here. That just makes me a deviant.
That's different. That's when you call the Wells Fargo and you ask to speak to the manager. Now, 99 times out of 100, it ain't gonna work. But that 100
oh shit! This is all you need is that one.
That's it.
That's it. And as we now know, TJ's safe word is "okay." That's it.
Then your partner gets really into it. It's like, say it in French. I don't know.
I don't know that one yet.
And then you're like, what? What?
Oui? No, that's yes. Say it. No, that's not it either.
Okay.
Right.
You're cupping your ear like, what did you say? Okay.
Ni hao? No, damn it, that's not it either. You just start saying every foreign word that you know.
Somehow you've got like a marker or something, and you're writing on the upper part of your arm. Get new safe word.
What? One that I know in multiple languages.
What are you doing? I'm just writing a note to myself for later.
For later. Yes.
All right. So there's a lot out about this. If you read IMDb, Wikipedia and all that. And some people's like, oh, this definitely happened. That they kept coming up with scripts and they kept rejecting them. So they made them other movies. One of the producers says, no, that's not what happened. They did go through a lot of scripts, but not necessarily like Lethal Weapon 3 was just Lethal Weapon 3, or, Speed 2, Cruise Control was not necessarily a leftover Die Hard script. We did go through a lot of these, but he goes, everything that you hear was not it. But that's why there was a break in between movies 2 and 3. And again, going forward between 3 and 4, and less of one between 4 and 5, because Bruce Willis really wanted to make sure that he got the right script for this character, because he really believes in John McClane.
Gotcha.
Andy Vajna replaced Joel Silver and Larry Gordon as the producer of the film due to a fallout with Willis. As a result, Vajna's company Synergy acquired foreign rights to the film. In most regions, the film rights were acquired by Disney and Summit Entertainment, while Fox retained domestic and Japan rights. In July 1997, Synergy sold its 50% stake in the film to Fox for $11.25 million. Lawrence Fishburne was originally offered the co-starring role of Zeus Carver, a part also written for him, but wanted a higher fee. Producer Andy Vajna held out on the deal. Fishburne had earlier turned down the role of Jules Winfield in Pulp Fiction, which was eventually paid by Samuel L. Jackson. Fishburne was talked out of playing Jules by his representative, who wanted him only to accept leading parts. Otherwise, he would be stuck career-wise as a supporting actor. Subsequently, Pulp Fiction premiered at the Cannes Film Festival during the same time as Fishburne's pay negotiation. Vajna also attended the event to support Willis, who was appearing in the Quentin Tarantino film. Tarantino recalled that Vajna was so impressed by Jackson's performance that he offered him the part of Carver instead. Fishburne later filed a lawsuit against Vajna's company Synergy for reneging on a verbal agreement. The lawsuit took 2 years, and Fishburne received a settlement.
Okay. I mean, for you to tell me, and having seen the side of cinema that I've seen, like I've said this to an actor, I'm like, hey, I like your style. I want to write a script with you in mind for a character,
Right.
right? Like I've said that before. So if you tell me that Zeus was written for me, and then you go and you see somebody else in a role and you offer to them, I mean, yeah, that can happen, but yeah, I'm going to be a little salty about it.
And also realize this, folks. When you hear from people that a verbal contract is worth exactly the amount of paper that it was written on, which means not anything, that is not true. A verbal contract can be binding. And
Yeah.
if they say how so, ask them to look up Lawrence Fishburne, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Make them do the work, TJ.
I mean, like, but if you've ever acted or performed before, then you can understand it a lot easier than other people may be able to. But Joey, if you come to me and you say, "All right, TJ, I've got this speaking part that I need you to shoot. It's going to take 2 days. Saturday and Sunday will knock you out." So now I put you on my calendar and I clear out Saturday and Sunday. So 5 minutes after you call me, Nicolas Cage reaches out to me and says, "Hey TJ, we're thinking about doing Fast and the Furious 35. They're bringing me into it. We want to bring you into it. We're going to shoot it on Saturday and Sunday." And I'm like, "Well, crap, man! I've already given my word to Joey. I can't do it. TJ, we're going to pay you $5 million. I understand that, but me being a man of my word, I've already told him yes. So I've got to stick to my word. And then you, Joey, you offer it to somebody else. I should have grounds for restitution because we had a verbal agreement.
Right.
I cleared my schedule based on what you said. So I totally understand Lawrence Fishburne for being a little salty when they gave it to somebody else, but then also realizing that their acting styles, because Lawrence has moments of funny, but it would have been different, a completely different movie with Lawrence as opposed to Samuel.
Now, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire because you did a feature recently that I took part in, and I played the part of Joey Harris.
You did.
Was that written specifically for me? And
I had someone else in mind.
And if so, why did I have to audition?
I had somebody else in mind. I was shooting for Ben Affleck to play Joey Harris.
Oh man,
but
Ben would have been so good.
when we couldn't get Ben. Look, but to tell you, bro, I was trying to get somebody else to play me as well. I wanted somebody else to play TJ, but the guy that I wanted to play TJ, he's no longer with us. Michael Clark Duncan would have been an amazing big TJ.
That's true. That is true.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let me see. I would say, hey, did you see that short film Art Crawl? I played Joey Harris in the beginning and the end. You hear my voice. Originally, that was supposed to be Ben Affleck. It's Joey Harris.
That's what you tell him.
Dude. I would make myself a Wikipedia page and put.
Now, mind you, when Ben and J-Lo are chilling and they're all of a sudden just looking on random Wikipedia about, well, apparently Ben was supposed to be in some short film called Art Crawl, and he lost the role to Joey Harris. Well, now Joey Harris is in demand. Now you're getting requests from Conan O'Brien like, yo, Joey, you got to come be on the show. You, this no-name actor, took a role from Big Ben Affleck. Big Ben Affleck's got an Oscar. You know, he was Daredevil and Batman as an old guy. So yeah, bro, that's a win for you.
Do you think he turned to J-Lo and go, but you had to go apple picking that weekend?
Absolutely.
100%.
100%. And then her response to him, nuh-uh.
And then he says, how dare you in my own home?
And all of a sudden, Matt Damon's in the back. What? Okay, I'm done.
So I'm gonna have to stretch my talents here. I'm going beyond, but all right. Michael Kamen returned to score the third film, again incorporating other material into his score. When he did the first one, Hans and Company, do you know what their song was that he incorporated?
No, it wasn't from Star Wars, was it?
No,
Okay.
Ode to Joy. Dun, dun, dun,
Got you.
dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
And so he would incorporated that into the background. He does the same thing with this one in Simon's Crew. Simon's Crew, theirs is When Johnny Comes Marching Home. Da, 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 yeah. Excerpts from his scores for Die Hard and Die Hard 2 were also included in the new film in the background. The soundtrack was released by RCA Victor in 2012. La La Land Records released an expanded version of the soundtrack containing music that Kamen has composed but went unused in the final film. Unlike his predecessors, Die Hard with a Vengeance did not take place during Christmas, instead being set during the late summer. However, we talked about this. It incorporates a lot of Christmas imagery and talk about that. He goes, I saw a guy, big fat guy with a beard and all of that. It opened in theaters on May the 19th, 1995, 5 years after Die Hard 2. Despite concerns about the film portraying bomb threats and terrorism with the Oklahoma City bombing having occurred the previous month, the film was released as originally scheduled. Die Hard with a Vengeance was released on VHS on December 19th, 1995 in the United States by Fox Video with a THX certified version, while it was released in international countries by Touchstone Home Entertainment and released in South Africa on VHS by Star Kinekor Home Video. It was then released on Laserdisc on January 17th, 1996. And on DVD on March the 9th, 1999. A special edition was released on DVD on July 10th, 2001, and then re-released in February 2005 and 2007. The film was released on Blu-ray in 2007 and 2013. An alternate ending to the one shown in the final movie was filmed with Jeremy Irons and Bruce Willis, set sometime after the event in New York. It can be found on the special edition DVD. In this version, it is presumed that the robbery succeeds and that McClane was used as the scapegoat for everything that went wrong. He is fired from the NYPD after more than 20 years on the force, and the FBI has even taken away his pension. It is also mentioned that McClane and his wife Holly have divorced. Nevertheless, he still manages to track Simon using the batch number on the bottle of aspirins, and they meet in a bar in Hungary. In this version, Simon has double-crossed most of his accomplices, gotten the loot to a safe hiding place somewhere in Hungary, and has the gold turned into statuettes of the Empire State Building in order to smuggle it out of the country. McClane is keen to take his problems out on Simon, whom he invites to play a game called McClane Says. This involves a form of Russian roulette with a small Chinese rocket launcher and has had the sights removed, meaning it is impossible to determine which end is which.
Wow.
McClane then asks Simon some riddles similar to the ones he played in New York. When Simon gets a riddle wrong, McClane forces him at gunpoint to fire the launcher, which fires the rocket through Simon, killing him. In the DVD audio commentary, screenwriter Jonathan Hensley claims that this version was dropped because the studio thought it showed a more cruel and menacing side to McClane, a man who killed for revenge rather than in self-defense. The studio was also displeased with the lack of action in the scene, feeling that it did not fit as a climax, and therefore chose to reshoot the finale as an action sequence at a significant monetary cost. Hensley's intention was to show that the events in New York and the subsequent repercussions had tilted McClane psychologically. This alternative ending, set sometime after the film's main events, would have marked a serious break from the Die Hard formula, in which the plot unfolds over a period of roughly 12 hours. According to the DVD audio commentary, a second alternate ending had McClane and Carver floating back to shore on a makeshift raft after the explosion at sea. Carver says it's the shame that the bad guys are going to get away. McClane tells him not to be so sure. The scene then shifts to to the boat where the terrorists find the briefcase bomb they left in the park, in which Carver gave back to them. In this version, it was not used to blow up the dam. The film would end on a darkly comic note as Simon asks if anyone has a 4-gallon jug. The draft of the script was rejected early on, possibly due to similarity of the ending of Die Hard 2, where all the villains board a plane that later explodes. So it was never used. So it was never actually filmed. The rocket launcher sequence was the only alternative ending to be filmed. So what are your thoughts about all that?
I mean, the alternate ending that they actually filmed, I would watch it. Just the cinephile in me wants to see it just so I can say I saw it, just to see what it would look like in real time. Between the two that you discussed, I think the one that they didn't film hits closer to home for me than the one that you said that they actually did film. Let that loose bomb be the one that catches up with them, as opposed to, Bruce Willis going. Because if John McClane is actually going and seeking revenge, he goes closer and closer and closer to a point that I was going to make whenever you asked me for my overall recap, and that he's a serial killer for bad guys.
Right.
His body count's high.
Yes.
That's all. He's got a high count.
This film, he actually does not shoot anyone until well into the film.
Which in the first two, he's talking about shooting at somebody within the first 30 minutes. But when I tell you, you're talking about a heavy scene, a violent scene. Let's go in that elevator, bro. He went in that elevator with 5 people and came out by himself.
Yep.
So yeah, that right there just shows how nasty. I'm not even just gonna say nasty. I'm gonna put some English on it. How nasty John McClane is, because I don't know that. Look, the only other person that could have done what John McClane did had super soldier serum. Holla at me.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
You picking up what I'm putting down.
I am picking it up. You're putting it down. I got you. But that scene also, you realize if you go back and look at it, they almost give themselves away before he even gets on the elevator.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about it's raining dogs and cats out there, and then he talks about getting on the lift instead of the elevator and all of that. And then you got my man Otto there.
Once he saw the badge, it was a wrap.
The badge number. You still playing your number? And then he's like, anybody know? Anybody know the
lotto? Because look, one thing we know when he asked that question, what are the numbers? Every cop in the room knew what the numbers were. Because apparently every cop in New York is playing the lotto, so they don't have to be a cop in New York. So if he asks this question and nobody has the answer, it's like, nah, that's fishy. That's fishy, because everybody knows the numbers.
Now, we're not supposed to bring him up. All right. I'm going on a tangent here. Tangent. There was a show that I enjoyed watching. Very short-lived show, but I called it. Called The Cosby Mysteries, starring one Bill Cosby. In it, he plays a New York cop who's like, I don't know, he's a detective, he's a lab guy. Anyway, he's very smart. Mm-hmm. In the pilot episode, he buys a lottery ticket that he buys every day. He ends up winning all that. And he's also shot that same day. He's like stopping on this, and he's like, no, come back. The guy's like, something around a bathroom, and he goes in there and he goes, no, come here. He goes, get that. That's dirty. You got to clean that up. He's like, no, get the newspaper and pick it. And he's shot. And he's like, I won the lotto. because you're right. Every cop is playing. They're like, yes, I got a good job. I enjoy helping people. I've got a great pension coming my way. But if I can step out a little early, oh yes, I will be.
Absolutely, man. And look, you telling me about him winning the lotto and getting shot immediately makes me like, so that's where Garcia got the idea for My Name Is Earl. just get winning the lottery and then all the bad stuff happens. So yeah, that's what happens.
Karma.
Some guy named Carson Daly told me about karma.
You watch Carson Daly too?
That's it.
Shout out to Crab Man.
Shout out to Crab Man. Joy. I jump for joy. I will, as Carson said, I will not jump for joy. I jump for Earl.
Retrospective rankings have called the film the best sequel in the franchise. Empire considered it to be one of the 50 greatest film sequels in 2009. Ben Sherlock of Screen Rant regarded it as the best sequel of the franchise. Johnny Hoffman from MovieWeb considered it a step up from the previous film and praised Willis and Jackson's chemistry and the action scenes.
I think we need a list, Joey. I think we need a list. I think that's something that our channel is missing. We need a list. We need a list. If it's top 5 movies, if it's favorite buddy comedies, whatever it is, we need a list that we can stand on and be able to call back to, for future shows. I think that a list episode would be grand. I'm excited for that.
What are we listing?
I don't know right now, Joey. I just had the idea. But what I'm saying to you is we need a list show. Because when you were listing that and you were saying that it was one of the, top 50 sequels, and I'm sitting there like, there are some sequels that are actually good, that actually deserve
100%,
some love. Because the overall the universal belief is that there's nothing like the original. And in some cases, yes, the original is the best film.
Right.
Coming to America. But in certain situations, the sequel can be as good as, if not better than the first. And I'm talking about The Dark Knight. So I'm saying sequels, I get it. I just think we need a list. We need a list episode. So I'm planting that out there, fans. If you have not hit that button down there to subscribe, go ahead and hit it now and then comment what you would like to see us list. Because we got them. I got lists for days.
my favorite fingers. Right. I'll start out with this one and then this one.
Thumbs don't count. So if we starting like this, pinky game all day, baby.
Now, I have long said that you have strong pinky game.
Thank you. But you have.
I've gone on record.
Bro, you really, really have. I don't think people understand that Easter egg right there. Joey's been showing love to my pinky game for years.
It's true. It's true. Now, a bit of trivia for you. The man who Zeus hands the bomb to, for those people who are wrestling fans of mid-1990s WWF, that is the man who was Ludwig Borga. Tony Honme.
Oh,
yes, that's Tony Honme. Has since passed away. Had an interesting life. I'll say that. Had some leanings that were not exactly great, and was also a member of I think the Finland, like their version of Congress. He was also a member of that. So we have died hard. We have died harder. We
died harder.
Now we have died hard with a vengeance. And folks, the next time that we come to you, we'll have to either live free or die hard. Those are our choices.
if I had to hedge my bets, Joey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the edge on the side of living free. I'm just
100%.
just putting that out there. Do not throw a car at my helicopter.
I have long had that rule. Long had that rule. First of all, probably not going to be in a helicopter, but if I'm in a helicopter, don't throw a car at my helicopter.
Do not throw a car at my helicopter, man. Not at all.
I was in New Hampshire yesterday. It's not a long state, but the whole way through, I was screaming, "Live free or die hard."
So now, look, fans, y'all get excited for this one because this is the one that I've seen the most, and I get to tell you why. And weirdly enough, it has a lot to do with Kevin Smith and Justin Long.
There you go. All right.
Wow.
But before we go, TJ, go ahead and plug any and everything that you've got.
If you're noticing all the facial hair, it's because I'm getting ready to film several episodes of a TV show that I'm doing out of South Carolina. And my character has been incarcerated for some time now. The first episodes, it was a little bit cleaner, the beard was. And now because the detective didn't get me out and left me in, it's getting a little bit thicker. But as that releases, I'll let you all know. We've got a movie premiere this weekend on Saturday for Has Anyone Seen Bill? Really excited for that Saturday night. And 2 weeks, Joey. That's all I can say, baby. 2 weeks, man.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. What? That's it. That's it. That's all I got, man. Listen, we need a list episode. John McClane is a serial killer. Shouts out to Holly because this is the first one that she wasn't in, and I got a thing for her. And yeah, man, good times.
Good times. I'm at the Joey Harris. If it's on social media, I'm at the Joey Harris on the social media. Joey Harris comedy at gmail.com if you would like to drop me a note. Seriously, folks, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You will get notified every time an episode drops. I'm also going back through adding some of the old episodes as I get to them. I'm also putting out clips as YouTube shorts of different moments of episodes. So if you like that, you'll enjoy that. More of TJ and I to go around, which is really all that anyone needs in their life.
There's never enough, man. I always used to say everybody needs a big fella in their life. Well, now you got two.
That's true. That is true.
You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
And we're bilingual. Okay? Come on, baby. Joey, a great time, man. We died with a vengeance today.
We certainly did. As always, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. And we will catch you all next time.